Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good.
So I just logged on a couple minutes ago, so I haven't seen the whole conversation. But I don't want to get too deep into it. But it's not somebody that lives in the neighborhood. It's a car that's there every day. I mean, listen, it's a delivery car. I don't want to say much beyond that because I don't want people stalking the person. But it's there every day. We've got, we don't have the footage from just that night. We have it from the week. And I mean, I'll just say it's a newspaper delivery guy. I mean,
that is not the way you're supposed to do it. That is some false ass information.
I mean, it's there every day within 10 or 15 minutes at the same time. It goes up, it delivers a paper to two houses on Devon and comes back down the street, and we can see it go on to Long Hollow. It exits the neighborhood, does the same routine every day.
Okay, that makes sense.
Has Bobby talked to you, or is
no? But I mean, the thing is I know people will go now try and blow up the newspaper, and they'll get the wrong newspaper because it's not the one they're going to think it is, and then, but the thing is that Mob Crew is just
none of it's true.
None of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie.
They turn this into something.
When did you originally post this?
Well, I posted an original. I posted one from the 26th, right, which was, the morning he went missing, just showing that back when there was the whole controversy of, Heath was saying that the cars weren't accounted for at the 3 a.m. And I showed the picture of this car and of the Uber driver. And this car was at 2:58 a.m. on that day. So all I did today is I showed two pictures. There's another one. There's one of it going uphill, one of it going downhill, like 40 seconds later. And I just did those two screenshots because I wanted to show him that it's not just on the day that Sebastian went missing. He's there every day around the same
time. Yeah.
And that person has been questioned if they saw anything.
And law enforcement said, we've accounted for all the vehicle, that we're moving around the neighborhood. I mean, I think what people got to understand, including Mob Crew, is that, they can be upset that they don't have all the surveillance footage, but going on the witch hunts like he does, that obviously nobody would show it to him.
It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never happened. This one was invented by a writer. Not this time. It never happened. It's false. It never happened. It's a fake. It's fiction. It's an urban legend that never happened.
So my question is, SF, with this thing that he has here, which obviously is zoomed in from what you posted, did you post one without that black mark?
No, somebody obviously, I saw him briefly talk about it, and he made it sound like he said he had a short clip. I don't know if the homeowner showed him a short clip of it. Yeah, but he said he got a short clip because he couldn't. There was stuff he couldn't determine. But so what I'm just trying to show him is, listen, you're wrong.
What did you say?
And I'm not trying to make him. I'm not doing it to be like, I got you. It's like all these things along the way. I've been like, listen, you're wrong about this, and let me show you why, and like move on.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Well, it's interesting, SF, because he states in this live, like, he only got two screenshots and he's got to email his source.
No, that was in the text for the Texas Roadhouse people.
Yeah.
Well, my guess would be that at the very beginning of the case, that this neighbor may have sent Bobby or somebody in a Facebook group a couple screen grabs of the cars that went by, right?
Oh yeah, because she was literally asking people. And
okay.
And then trying to identify the cars, and so somebody finally got it to him, probably.
Well, that is totally false.
And I'm just showing him, listen, like I said before, it's not,
wow.
I'm not trying to do it in a sense that like, listen, you're wrong and make fun. It's just like, listen, you're accusing, making up these crazy accusations because they're bringing other neighbors into it now, saying that they're running through their yards and stuff. And, it's just, that's just not the case. So it's like, go move on to the next theory. I'm just proving that this is, and that's why law enforcement would have known about this. And it'd be, I saw him saying like, I guess that was in the last one, but he's talking about how he's got to call TBI and the FBI and let them know they know about all this. Come on,
Do you have any experience?
No, sir, I have no experience, but I'm a big fan of money. I like it. I use it. I have a little. I keep it in a jar on top of my refrigerator. I'd like to put more in that jar. That's where you come in.
Okay, so here.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you, but just after they arrive, so they just went into the Texas Roadhouse. There's a vehicle that goes by right here.
Oh my gosh!
In the footage again, this is something that was sent to me by the team. It is also found on TikTok somewhere.
Oh Lord! So let me explain what that is. So what you're looking at there is where that white truck is parked and that silver, whatever it is, that is the hotel that I stay at when I'm there is literally in that parking lot, faces Texas Roadhouse. I sat there.
You might need to get a hotel next time. Thanks, SF.
Well, it's the only hotel. But the thing is that what it is it's to go delivery pickup line. It's a row of cars, one after another. And what they're doing is the reason like those guys like in the yellow jacket and stuff they both turn around at the same time is because people yell out their name. They're like, "Hey, Fisher, order for Fisher." And they turn around and they're like, "Okay, grab it," and they run it out to the car and they move on. The next one pulls up. That's what you're seeing going on, just out of frame.
I will never say a word.
So that's just a car. It's a super busy place. I'll tell you, it's like delivery, pickup after pickup.
Well, he says it's not even in the footage that he's showing us the truck, right, with the doors open like this. See, this pickup's getting ready to leave, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, this car pops up. And he says, "Oh, but that's not on the footage. This was sent to me by the team."
Oh, how fun!
So they're taking, So they're taking what you had here, made it a Honda. Okay, overlaying the Honda.
I think they're using the one.
They're going here and putting it in here to make it the same person, like they were being stalked at the Roadhouse by this same person.
Okay, first you lied, right? Then you lied about lying. Okay, then you lied about lying about lying. Okay, so before you lie about lying about lying about lying about lying. Stop lying.
They're so.
It's
that black bar. Wild. The black bar just absolutely freaks them out. That's why I keep using it. To be honest with you, I don't understand. Like they got so riled up about that, and like, why? What are you hiding? What I'm hiding is I don't want them hunting down these people. To have nothing to do with anything. And that's why that's why wouldn't show them the footage because you can't trust them with it.
What the hell's going on? Everything's completely out of control. It's nuts. I've never seen it like this.
So
exactly. You got freaking Julie calling, bellowing for the Craddock and bellowing for Carter because you got people going after SF's license, SF's license, my license.
Keep your damn mouth shut.
There it is. There it is.
Just shut up.
Yeah, they want to go for my license, but they're because I've got the footage, yet they want the footage. So it's like, which is it?
Did this car got a tail light out over there, or is that made up?
What's up?
They're trying to say that car right there that's on the screen, that its left tail light is out. But I feel like the tail light.
No, I heard him say that too. No, what it is just the sensitivity of the cameras is picking up that right. Like when you see it on video, as soon as it passes the Suburban, it's very clear that both taillights aren't. And plus, if you look at the next picture that I attached, that's why I did an uphill.
Well, look how bright the garage is across the street.
Exactly, and then you'll see if you look at the downhill shot, you'll see the left tail lights clearly on. So.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good
job, mob crew.
Yeah, so,
maybe they had a tail light. Maybe they replaced it. SF.
Look at mob crew left.
They'll argue they replaced it.
Right.
And honestly, just remember this. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. If he would have just been professional about it and been like and message or call me and been like, okay, explain this to me or that to me, I would have. He's the one that's turned it into this.
So it's so funny how people are so like free and almost arrogant with their advice, and I'm just like, why would I listen to you?
I'm simply trying to be like, listen, it's gotten to be too much. You know what I mean? He's like these narratives where he says, now he's using neighbors' names and that he's a police officer and this and that. And it's just it's crazy.
I have another question. Okay. I don't know if you can answer this or not, but it would maybe help put a lot to rest. You've been working like on this behalf with Chris and Katie. Have they ever said anything to you that made you suspicious of them?
Before you ask me what you want to ask me, ask yourself, is this some bullshit? Before you ask it.
No, I mean, well, that's a tough question because listen, and I truly mean it in every case I'm on. I work for the missing person, right?
I decided to become a liar. I just make things up. It's going great.
So, until Sebastian's found, Chris and Katie will always be on my, suspect list, as will any family member, that includes Seth.
So why would he say it? Because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie.
That includes anybody that's close or anybody that could have a reason or any access to him. You can't rule anybody out until we find him. Everybody thinks I'm protecting Chris. I listen to everything they say, and I ask them some tough questions. I will say that everything I have asked them for, including a lot of very sensitive data, very sensitive data, they've given me right away. There's nothing they haven't given me, but until he's found everybody, I haven't ruled anybody. I honestly do not know what happened to Sebastian. So, I can't rule anybody. I lean towards it still being a voluntary walkaway type of situation, and something went wrong, or, but everybody's a suspect still. Just because they signed the paperwork on behalf of Sebastian does not mean that I don't look into them. In fact, I've looked deeper into them than anybody because I have the most access to them.
I knew you was lying. I knew you was lying, man.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Because I figured that you would be upfront. Like if they gave you everything and they've not held back, it does make it makes them less suspicious, in my opinion.
Okay, first you lied, right? Then you lied about lying. Okay? Then you lied about lying about lying. Okay? So before you lie about lying about lying about lying about lying, stop lying.
And listen, I've talked to I've sent reports and things to law enforcement that include lots of different people, including them, like things I think should be looked at, or things I've looked at, and see if they'll give me any input if they agree or not. And I have very little communication with them, just to be honest. But nobody is off the table. If I found any proof that one of them had done something, I would have zero delay picking up the phone and calling TBI or Sumner County. I'm only interested in finding Sebastian. I've never in my life worked for a defense attorney or a prosecutor or anything. I've never done any work like that where I'm trying to prove a case from one side. I only am a missing persons investigator. I'm only looking for the missing person, and then once they're found,
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
out of it.
Okay, can you answer this? Are they still in communication with law enforcement too?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say yes. I don't know what they're, I don't want to get into their, because I know there's a lot of, there seems to be like this competition, but.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
They're, I think that they're doing a lot to try and find Sebastian. I'll just say that. I think there's.
I got 3 words for you: guilty, guilty, guilty.
A lot more than people probably think. But they're just, they're just not gonna make it all public facing, and that's their right. And I think in this case, they're probably.
I wouldn't either. Not now. Not with the shit show that's already been done. I think that the best thing they can do is stay silent at this point.
I got 3 words for you: guilty, guilty, guilty.
Yeah. I think. Listen, I think in the near future you're gonna see that there's listen. I mean, there's efforts going on. They're still going on. They're not as public because for obvious reasons. It just can't be because there's just this divide. But we've got to find him.
Quite frankly, they just don't need ass pats.
None of it's true. None of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie.
Yeah, they're pretty thick-skinned at this point, right? I mean, they've taken just a lot of hell, and listen, but it happens. It happens in cases. Even the case going on down in the Dominican Republic now. I mean, people are attacking the family because they came out and said that they don't believe there's foul play involved, and now people are saying, "Oh, it's for life insurance." Now, people can just be cruel.
SF, do you feel like there's progress being made?
Not enough. Not enough.
Well,
yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
Obviously, because Sebastian's not found.
No, I know what you're saying, but no, there needs to be a bigger. Still needs to be a bigger effort. It's not the level of effort that.
Like no urgency.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Exactly. It's kind of like I feel like it's almost like law enforcement, in a sense, is kind of hoping the case is going to solve itself. Like something's going to just resolve.
Something's going to break or give. Yeah.
Something's just going to present itself and be like, here.
And so, of course, first thing I want to say is everything that I have, of course, TBI and Dog's team already has. So I just want to put that already out there. There's nothing I'm holding on to that they don't have. Luckily, I've built a good rapport with the locals and been privileged to be able to share a few screenshots of this vehicle. But I hope there's some good car enthusiasts / experts, mechanics in the chat, because we need your help. Although I think we've got a pretty good idea on the make and model of this vehicle. We were close. It was a silver car, 4-door sedan, but we'll get to it because it's heavily zoomed in, and because the car is going really fast, you're not, it's not going to be a perfect, picture of a car, but we do have some really interesting details about this car. So if you can hit that like button, let's get up to 1,000. So here we go.
Time in that window.
Okay, just get
Seth
ready.
All right. I'm pretty sure Chris. All
right, you guys ready? So remember, the PI here's. Remember when I asked him, like, this is his response when I asked him, after he put out the photo of the two, and I asked him, like, well, can you show the car without it being edited out, or release some clips? But of course, this was his response. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but he says, we know who owns the vehicle and where it went, and it did not pick up Sebastian. Pretty strong statement, but again, as far as I know, in the community, nobody knows who this car is. They know the other car that came at 3:30, but as far as I know, no one knows who this car is. And I would think the community that lives there in the neighborhood, which of course SF has gone on to explain that, it's not foreign to the neighborhood, yet the neighbors have no idea who this car is, right? So it's not adding up. All right, so once again, that was his, his thing here, and here you guys go. And like I said, I had to do a lot. I've built a big rapport with the locals out here. This is 3 a.m. This is not 3:30. This is 3 a.m. Well, technically 2:58. 2:58. By the time it comes back around, we may eventually find that out, and if I can release that. I've told you guys before, speaking with the sources, the person looked at the footage and said that the car, from when it goes up killing and comes back down, it's really fast. And I've seen a small clip. This car is, like I said, so it's 20 miles in the residential. This car's hauling, right? It's going pretty fast. So here it is. Silver car, just like we always talked about since 8 months ago plus. There's a couple of screenshots. And on cue, someone's still in a car outside. Not really. Anyway, now this is the big one. In my opinion, this is huge. This gives a lot more details about the car. So hopefully we've got some car enthusiasts and experts in the chat. But we have a pretty good idea on the make and model. But it helped all come together. So one thing I noticed right away, and let me know if you guys agree. Do you notice the right tail light is much brighter than the left tail light? Almost as if it's out. And if that's true, that's huge. Because, in an unidentified car, the biggest thing you want to try to get is some kind of a unique identifier to the car. If you don't have a license plate or whatever, some kind of identifier for the car, a dent, special rims, something unique to the car. But yeah, does that not look like, and I'll explain why it still looks lit up like this. And this is where it makes it very unique of a car. is this looks like it's LED lights on the back. So once again, there it is. And I run some bunch of filters. I don't think the hubcaps are missing, but this is what I think is what we have here is a silver Honda Accord 2023, 11th generation. And they have the LEDs that go across, right? And let me know, again, for those that are, because I'm not a big car guy myself. But this is what we believe, at least myself anyway, believe this is a silver Honda Accord 2023 has this particular LED, not all of them, but a certain portion do. Puff Muffin says LED tail lights but halogen front bulbs. Interesting. That's excellent workers. Thank you. And again, it's a team effort. But notice, even as it moves, I only have just a couple screenshots of it, but even as it moves, again, I mean, that is so much brighter than the left one. To me, that's got to be out. And that's got to be huge. Did somebody see a vehicle, maybe not in this neighborhood, but maybe, that night, they remember like, oh, I remember seeing a vehicle with, one of the taillights out, right? Of course, now it's a year later, but again, assuming if this car is involved, this would be huge. So then, there's a lot more. Hippie says, yep, that LED strip gives the ambient light on the left, even though the left main tail light is out. Thank you, Hippie. Yeah, that's what. So I was speaking with one person, one of my friends who's, I wouldn't say a car expert, but he knows his cars. And that's what I sent him this screenshot, and that's what he said. He's like, yeah, that's probably means it's got an LED strip, so it'll still look like it's, it's still lit up, but the left whatever is out, which is huge. No, this is, someone say Darts Charger. No, this is likely a silver Hyundai Accord. And then, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I will look into it after. Matter of fact, I'll write it down. As I will look at it if you got a year, but we're pretty set on this Hyundai, silver Honda. But then there's something that even more interesting, or just as interesting. So this is them arriving at the Texas Roadhouse, right? Now, you guys have seen most of the footage, but I think they've been holding on to a little bit of footage. I could be wrong. I believe they have all the footage. I just don't think they have shown all of it, and there may be a reason why. But they did share something that has been put out on TikTok, so I'm going to show you. But just after they arrive, so they just went into the Texas Roadhouse. There's a vehicle that goes by right here. Now, this is not in the footage. Again, this is something that was sent to me by the team. It is also out on TikTok somewhere. But this car is seen not long after they go in. And this appears to be a silver Honda. And I believe that might be like the sunroof maybe popped up a little bit or something. Kind of weird. We got 2 screenshots of it. Let me know, anybody in chat, if they agree or disagree. Because they're thinking this is also a silver Honda Accord.